AM 1170, The Answer.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on AM 1170, The Answer. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty, joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall, Team Home Loans. Before the break, we've had two awesome guests on the show today. Nathan Craig, 3C Insurance Services. If you need any kind of health insurance, have health insurance questions, or you want to see him run for president in 2020, or you want to get connected with James Cassady, State Farm Insurance, you need auto insurance, life insurance, rental unit insurance, homeowners, he is your guy. 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355.
Kyle, before we go to line, can I find out 3Cs? Why 3Cs, Nathan?
Yeah, sure. So in short, it's emphasizing the ability for us to come into a company and help control costs when it comes to health insurance. That's one of the most important pieces, managing the cost of the insurance, finding good solutions that are managing the cost for the business and your employees. Also, you're always battling compliance issues. And so we come in, we give you resources and education to help manage the compliance issues so that you're not paying penalties. The only thing worse than having laws that you have to keep in place is having to pay because you didn't.
Nice.
And wasting money, might as well light that on fire.
3Cs, I like it.
And the last one's culture. My favorite part, helping come into a company, building a better culture through positive benefits as opposed to this negative vibe around benefits that so often exists. We'd like to come in and build a positive culture.
All right, appreciate it.
I love it. And speaking of culture, Jesse, you on the line?
I sure am. How are you today, sir?
I am fantastic. You are a culture guy. You've got a company with a really cool, innovative culture. So before we get into the report about the aspiring home buyer's profile, tell us a little bit about what Call Action is and kind of the culture and what you guys have built that company around.
So ultimately, we are a technology company, and we do small businesses and real estate agents, mortgage agents, everyone from a bunch of different sources, handle and engage all of their inbound phone calls and inbound leads. We know how important it is for someone to be acknowledged when they call into your business. We basically automate that process. And we try and do that by using technology and then educating the business owners as far as the importance of that by using data and reports and all kinds of studies that we fund out there on consumer behavior, because we think that that ultimately is most important. So that's a little bit about us.
I love it. And so I know that a lot of the decisions you make in your business are based on data, research, all of that stuff. And so National Association of Realtors Research Department came out with a study this month, or last month, I guess it is now. Now we're in March, called the Aspiring Homebuyer's Profile. So tell us a little bit about this report that came out and some of the things that you've learned from it and how you're kind of taking advantage of that and implementing it in the business.
Yeah, so the report itself discussed what is motivating people to buy and sell homes. And for us, this is pretty important because most of our consumer base, or a lot of our consumer base, are people in the real estate industry. And so we try and educate them in terms of thinking about the consumer journey and where they're going down and what they're thinking about and why they would be calling a real estate agent in the first place. So the report shares a bunch of different insights that some of them are actually really surprising and present a really good opportunity for that community to educate basically possible home buyers in the future, which in turn would create inbound phone calls, which is where we kind of come into play into that. So we like to try and educate everyone in terms of that data process and helping them be able to convert transactions basically or build their business slowly but surely. So
okay, nice. And I know one of the things in the report talked about what people's perception of down payments is when it comes to buying a home and how they might actually be shooting themselves in the foot. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's really surprising. In my prior career, before being a technology company, I was a mortgage lender for 24 years. So I spent a lot of time educating consumers in terms of, the ability to buy a home. And what we found in this report is that about 87% of consumers who do not own a home currently believe that they need at least 10% or more of a down payment in order to be able to buy a home. And it's one of the primary reasons why they're not even exploring to buy a home, because they just don't have the available savings to begin with. And so that's kind of a surprising fact, and we kind of view that as a big opportunity for basically the real estate community to start educating home buyers in terms of available opportunities out there to be able to buy, and that 10% or 20% down is not necessarily required. And some consumers are able to buy with no money down if they are veterans down in San Diego, for sake of conversation. So.
Definitely. And we got Jason Hall with Team Home Loans in studio. I mean, Jason, what are the two most popular loan programs in San Diego? Require what, 0 and 3.5% down?
0,
right?
3%, 3.5%. There's down payment assistance programs. But Jesse, you hit it right on. So many consumers who do not own really believe they need that larger down payment. And living in Southern California, the rents are so high, the expenses are so high, although they make good income and they can afford, $3,000 a month rent or $2,500 a month rent, they can never save that 10, 20% that they think they need. And as you just hit it, you can get away with 0 to 5% all day, all over San Diego and Southern California. So great points.
Yeah, it's really surprising that it's that large of an amount of consumers that believe that. And, this NAR study comes from an interview of about 11,000 people. And so it just tells us basically in the industry that, we might need to do a little bit of a better job in terms of educating people to make sure they don't disqualify themselves because of that lack of down payment. So.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the report, and one of the other things that's funny in here is 87% of people that don't own a home want to own a home, but then 87% of that 87% believe they need 10% or more down.
Right. So when you hear that, it gives me the impression like there's so much more room for the market to go up, right? A lot of people are telling us, in the agents and the lending community, I don't want to buy now. The market's already back to the highs it's ever been, and they're scared. But reading this report, and Jesse and Kyle, there's still, if we just educate these people, there's going to be more buyers for months and years to come. I mean, we're probably still at least a couple of years away before there's any, serious correction. Unless Trump puts out a tweet, you never know, right?
Definitely true. So, but yeah, the other thing that's kind of interesting as well, basically, is there's a big talk about how student loan debt has eliminated a lot of people, or people are saddled with the student loan debt and they don't want to buy because of that. And in this same report, what we found basically is about 61% of people actually don't have student loan debt. And so there's a much bigger percentage of people that should be able to purchase because they're not saddled down by that. And even the ones that do have that debt, there's still a fairly large percentage of those people that would be comfortable in terms of taking on a mortgage and buying a home. They just, again, are kind of held back because they believe that down payment is so large, and so they're waiting to try and make that happen. And in the meantime, they're probably trying to pay off the student loan debt before they would get to a house. So they're artificially pushing back, something that they could accomplish today.
So it sounds like there's just a lot of psychological things that are holding people back because they heard something, they believe something, it's been ingrained from them from their family, whatever the case may be, that they feel oppressed almost that they can't do something, when in reality, if they actually sat down with a mortgage professional like Jason or a realtor like myself, they might actually realize that they can buy a home. That student loan might not be holding them back as much as they think. They might not need as much money down as they think.
So how do I get this report, Kyle?
So if you want to get this report from Jesse, he actually has integrated this with his awesome service at Call Action. So if you want to get a copy of this report from the National Association of Realtors, I need you to send a text message to 657-444-1500. Again, it's 657-444-1500, and just put buyer trends with an S on the end there. 657-444-1500, and put the text buyer trends, and then we'll get you a copy of this report from the National Association of Realtors.
That's absolutely free.
Free, no cost. And there's some really, really good data in this report. It's, what is this thing, like 20-something pages of just awesome data from the National Association of Realtors.
So it's not from a one agent standpoint, right?
No.
It's from the whole association.
Yeah, I mean, they're surveying thousands of people across the country when they come out with these reports. And that's what business takes these days. I mean, for these guys, trust me, you're going to want to use Jesse's service. Nathan and James here in studio. Everything that we do should be based on data, not on hearsay, not on what somebody told us, not on what we believe, but on actual data. And that's what I love with Jessie. His company is built on data. And that's really what we build our businesses on, is data. I mean, that's what it's all about. And State Farm, raising some rates and lowering some other rates, it's all because of that data. So again, if you want to get that report from Jessie, at call action 657-444-1500 and text buyer trends. We'll get that over to you. And if you want to connect with any of the guests we've had on the show today, shoot us a text, give us a call, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. Jessie, thanks for joining us. James, Nathan, Jason, thank you for joining us here on Whissel Wednesdays. We'll talk to you next Wednesday, 6 p.m.
Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow.